That's probably the best meatloaf I've ever had.
Imagine biting into the best fried chicken of your life. I'm not talking about just the flavor hitting your taste buds, but imagine you drive into a small town, you walk through the doors of a small family-run business, and you're greeted by people behind the counter that genuinely care that you're there. I personally feel like spending money in a place like this than in some corporation chain that the money goes some other state that's not Texas. This is what we experienced on our trip to Pop's Fried Chicken in Terrell, Texas. So come along with Caitlin and I as we head to Terrell and visit Pop's Fried Chicken. Caitlin assures me that this is the best fried chicken in the world. So I'm going to put that to the test. But first, before we eat, we're going to meet with the current owner, Douglas Keels. So, let's go.
Allow me to welcome you or welcome you back. Mike and Ty on the channel, never know where they at. So lock in, they gon' make it exciting. Get lost in the videos and don't forget to like them,
When I arrived in Terrell, I noticed it had a small town feel, with the road that goes all the way to Pop's. When we got there, we circled the building, and I noticed it had a drive-thru, which was busy the whole time we were there. But more importantly, there was hand-painted art decorating the exterior of the building. If you've seen my other episode, My Life of Crime, you know that I'm kind of a fan of art. Once inside the restaurant, we met with Douglas and his family, Chris, Jared, and DJ. And I was able to sit down at a table and get to know Douglas. Douglas is a friendly man with a lot of life experience. I learned all about his music passion, how he got involved in the family business, and what else did I learn? Douglas' father was a man by the name of Gene Keels. Gene was previously working for another chicken company in the 60s and 70s, and his role was to open new locations around Texas. As you can imagine, he got tired of moving around with a family, and he decided to start his own location. It was around this time Douglas began working with his father in different roles.
I cooked my first batch of chicken when I was 10 or 11. I was in the 5th grade. My dad grew up working as a kid, so he thought his kids should grow up working as a kid. So here we are.
Gene started his first business with the name Grandma's Fried Chicken.
I think he opened the Grandma's in Tyler about 72-ish.
Is that the first restaurant?
That was his first restaurant.
Okay.
And they went into an old Dairy Queen building. It's on the Loop in Paluxy in Tyler.
Eventually, this business grew to 27 different locations, and it changed names over the years, from Grandma's Fried Chicken to Pop's Honey Fried Chicken. Eventually, the price of honey got too expensive to keep using, so they changed the name again to Pop's Fried Chicken, not with honey. That's obviously not the name. He just doesn't have honey in. Anyway. Over the years, the business changed names from Pop's Honey Fried Chicken to Pop's Fried Chicken when the price of honey got too expensive to include in their batter recipes. Today, there are several locations remaining with the name Pop's Honey Fried Chicken, but they're no longer ran by or affiliated with the original location. This original location where we were eating today was built in 1974, and it was Gene's first business from the ground up.
Yeah, this was a new building in '74. The first time it rained, the roof leaked like a sieve, man.
Even though it was brand new?
Oh yeah, man. Well, there's not a lot of slope, and it's a metal roof.
Oh yeah. This is their founding location. It's been operating for 49 years. Next year is going to be their 50th anniversary. And Douglas assured me they're going to have some sort of special or do something big to celebrate the 50th anniversary. Douglas took over this location shortly before Gene passed away.
Yeah, I was already doing the payroll. I was basically already running the store. He got to where he would just come in and help a little bit through the lunch run. He loved cutting rolls. He loved to cut the rolls. The rolls were always his job. Right before he passed away, he told me I'd probably have to quit making rolls because he wasn't here to cut them anymore. Yeah, I laughed too. Anyway, yeah, but he would sit out here in the dining room talking to all his buddies. That's just what he did. Got to that point.
You said after he passed away there was some uncertainty with customers.
Oh yeah, man. Never seen nothing like it. We went from here to here. Yeah.
And how long did that last for?
About 6 months, 3 to 6 months. I don't remember exactly. It's just everywhere I went, Everybody's like, I heard you put the place up for sale. I said, no, man, I never put the place up. I will never sell the place. Tell everybody that. Just tell everybody. Just spread that. Get rid of these lies, Yeah, and they were, oh, that's what everybody's saying. I said, tell them to quit. Yeah, so finally they figured it out, yeah. And then it came back even busier than it was before. Yeah. That was crazy. I mean, the stuff you experience, yeah.
During COVID, he said sales obviously dropped as most business sales dropped.
I was so scared. I mean, I was so scared. I was like, man, that's it. But we had to close the dining room where the drive-thru just kicked butt. I mean, we were all getting our 10,000 steps in or more because we were just running in and out. So the drive-thru saved us. And then we got to open up half, then we got to open up the whole thing. But it actually ended up being good for business because we actually did extremely well. It was just crazy.
Luckily for that drive-through.
Yeah, without a drive-through, you'd be SOL.
The drive-thru kept them afloat and allowed them to prosper to what it is today. Today, it's obviously a staple in Terrell. Even when Caitlin and I were first arriving, we had a wave of approval from another biker going down the road. I think most people in the Terrell area have either been to or heard of Pop's Fried Chicken, and now that I know about it, I'm obviously going back. One of the best things I learned on this day is that Douglas is a fellow motorcycle rider.
What's your current bike?
An '03 Heritage.
I'm not going to fault him for riding a Harley. Yes, it's not an Indian, but nonetheless, he's one of us. So if you have a car or a truck, drive down there, try the food. If you have a bike, I'm challenging you to make the ride. Go there and tell me that's not the best fried chicken you have ever had. After this interview, we found several items for me to try. Before I can tell Caitlin, don't eat yet, she had a mouthful of chicken, so I had no choice but to dig in. I ended up ordering meatloaf, chicken spaghetti, macaroni and cheese, mashed potatoes, broccoli cheese casserole, and of course, fried chicken legs. And what was the verdict? Well, it was delicious. I'll ride here again, and I recommend anyone around North Texas make the same trip. This is probably one of the best small restaurants I found in Texas, and we were super lucky to meet Douglas and hear the story that became Pop's Fried Chicken. Speaking of the other episode, My Life of Crime, if you haven't watched it yet, you have to see it. Click here.